We are just about arrived in town. Dare I hit scouts for once? Oh, nope, those are all from future locations. I think. Yeah. So I've not been missing anything. Welp. Welp. I tried it for a second time, but I've been thorough.
What happened here?
Sadly, it was Rayla who met with surprise. 100-yard gap gaped in the unbreachable walls of Rosberg. The fortress itself was aflame, spewing black smoke into the sky.
I don't... How? It can't be!
There was no time to consider her question, for Nilfgaardian scouts had spotted Meve's company. The Queen knew battle was inevitable, so she gave the signal to form a defensive line, then drew her blade.
Did they have a cool dragon, or a mage, or a giant siege weapon? The Battle of Rosberg. At Rosberg, Meve realized Nilfgaard had not started this war simply to draw more favorable political boundaries, nor to shift the continent's balance of power, but to burn the north to the ground and build a new Nilfgaardian-dominated world atop the ashes. Thus the Lyrians were not fighting for honor nor spoils, but for survival. Hint, prevent the scouts from calling reinforcements. Story, it's shortened. Special rules, alright. What are the special rules? Sounds like we want to really kill those scouts, which could be bad news because I don't really have a damage specialized deck. I might have to recalibrate if it goes badly. Nilfgaardian Scout. Every 4 turns on turn start, draw a card if you are losing. Oh no. Does that mean I need to try to lose on purpose for most of the round, then overtake them at the end? Because otherwise, them drawing an additional card is rough. Oh, do I have hand advantage though? They only have 6 cards, and I have more. Spotter. After 4 turns on turn start, summon reserve units. Increase their timer by 2. The plan for battle is knowing your opponent's half of battle, or wait. What is that? Death Wishes increase their timer by 2. Like, it makes it take 2 turns longer? But if they're dead, then how do they have a timer? Does it increase the timer of the other ones? Summon reserve units. Reserves. Every turn on turn start, reduce timer by 1. When timer expires, draw cards until your hand is full. Oh. Well, look who finally decided to show up. Shit. So that's... Reserves. Is reserve units the same thing as the reserves, or is that something else? Do you have a health bar? So I guess I want to kill these guys because it'll increase his timer by 2 each time. And if I let them live, they'll make more of them. So I need to be on the offensive. Good luck. You guys straight up can't attack. You can set fire to a row, which is good. Spies also can't attack. You can attack. You can summon units. You can't attack. They have only 5 health. I have an attack that also attacks people based on having the matching number. God, I'll attack all of them on the first turn for a decent chunk. And then play one of these guys and he'll attack all of them, and at that point they'll all be dead. Basically. We'll see how that goes, I guess. Should I expect them to attack me or not, I wonder? make the bear useful. I think they usually do. I mean, it's still the Nilfgaardians. They attack plenty, right? Let's give it a go. Test out this encounter. They certainly didn't change what I had access to or anything.
Ever have a storm knock out one of your teeth?
There you go. All right. A 10-turn countdown. Hopefully I can keep that going. Does he place more of them or what?
That was nothing to spell books.
Admittedly, it's just on the edge where it still might happen, even with my hand count, which is worrying me a little bit. Spawn a random potion into your hand. Cool, so I have no idea what he just did. The pitfall trap. This guy. Add 2 copies to your deck. Let's just go for the pitfall trap, I think. I'll go for it. That's some nice damage. Ooh. It's Pitfall Trap Plus, so it's 3 damage instead of 2. I didn't catch that. My bad. Even better.
Yep.
Bloody Horsens. They'll pay for this.
Now it's like the front row on fire.
Catch!
And you got a double dose of bad news. I don't like that it keeps counting down. Oh, but he doesn't have that many cards. Every 4 turns on turn start, draw a card if you're losing. So I want to make sure that I'm still losing most of the time until he runs out of cards. Once he runs out of cards, he has to pass. At that point, it won't matter if this thing makes him draw cards. I was worried because the number was matching up with how many cards I have in my hand, so I wasn't sure how the math was going to work out and how he might end up drawing a full hand right when it's time for me to end the match, meaning I'd be doomed. But his hand is smaller than mine by default, so that means that he's going to pass before then. So he won't, even if the effect does make him draw more cards, he won't have any more turns left, so it won't matter, and so on. I think my opening salvo basically won the match for me, as long as I can just make my card count work out, or as long as I can successfully win by the end. One of these guys, all right. Who stole copies of an ally by 5? Whoa.
I refuse to believe it. The king could not have died here.
That's a strong one. Another one of these guys.
Should have listened to me, old lady.
Let's go with you. Man, okay.
This harvest will be reaping black clad.
All right.
I smell a leak.
Now it's on fire and a trap, and that's on fire, and I've got all these guys, which means that this guy, I'm about to get a plus 15. Ooh, do I want that? What is your countdown on 4 turns? It's gonna be a while. That means you're gonna run out of cards before it can trigger again. So we're done with your effect. Cool. No duplicate effects, unfortunately. And yeah, your deploy effects. There's no reason to go after you. I'll just get the strongest one. We'll see how much fire damage they take. The big thing is to give me plus 15. And I'm gonna want to knock 3 of these guys into the spike row with this guy. Because then they take bonus damage from the spikes while still being threatened by fire, because the fire's everywhere now. And at this point, I think I've won.
Off to the front yet again.
It's a weird feeling, but I basically won in the first turn. just by successfully wiping everything out with what I had. He never attacked me a single time, so I didn't get to make my bear. That's too bad. And we're not gonna have time. No. I'm not gonna have a chance to use my crushing trap because yeah, her cooldown's pretty long. It wouldn't have made it either way, I guess. But hey, let's pointlessly average you guys out. There he is drawing cards. So he's doing the thing where he draws every 4 turns if he's losing. There's no one to use it on. It's fine, we won. Quick one.
Watch for Demoven's banners. If he's here, we must find him.
Really unusually brief match.
The Lyrians met one note of luck in this song of woe. Rosberg had fallen, yes, but the Nilfgaardians, not expecting reinforcements from the south, had stationed only a small detachment to hold it. Meve led her men to victory and retook the fortress. Or rather, what was left of it. What they did not demolish during their assault, the Nilfgaardians burnt once inside the city. Countless charred corpses of both defenders and peasants seeking shelter from the invaders lay among the blackened ruins. Some had tried to shield their children from the fire with their own bodies. To no avail.
Gods be damned!
The queen cried, pounding her fist against the wall. Meve was about to give the order to move on when she caught a stifled whimper coming from a pile of rubble. Her soldiers ran to the rescue, their bare hands digging through the fiery bricks.
Here! He's alive!
The man they pulled from the ruins had suffered horrible burns. His face was a stew of seared flesh and pus-filled boils, and he reeked of burnt meat. Seeing Black Rayla, the poor soul staggered to his feet and lifted a shaking hand in salute.
Engineer Lieutenant Xavier Lemons, reporting for duty.
Medic! Send for a medic!
Lemons! What the devil's happened?
I know not. The East Tower, I led the defense. Heating oil to tan Nilfgaardian hides. A catapult struck. The cauldron tipped, burst into flames. The rest, I cannot say.
The fortress fell.
Fell? Damned Scoia'tael.
What was that?
Our preparations were perfect. A month, 2 we could have lasted, but traitors were among us. Elves, dwarves. Planted charges on the buttresses. An explosion shook the tower, a hole gaped in the wall. Our men threw themselves in, filling the breach.
Vermin, filthy, rotten vermin.
I know you suffer, soldier, but Queen Meve wishes to meet with your sovereign, Demavend. We must know what's become of him.
Gone, luckily. He oversaw the preparations, then returned to Aldersburg. 3 days past.
Then let us do the same. Reynard, prepare our departure.
Hold your grace. Did anyone survive? Anyone at all?
The Nilfgaardians might have taken prisoners. There's hope.
How could they? An entire detachment? An entire city? The animals.
Soldier, my medics will tend to you as best they can. Then we can escort you home if...
This is my home, your grace. Rosberg. I beg you, let me join your company. Let me exact revenge.
I respect your fighting spirit, good man. But in your state...
Your grace, I can hold neither shield nor sword, but I can still fight in my own way. I'm an engineer. I build siege towers, ballistae, bridges, whatever you wish. I pray, grant me a chance.
Such pain, such ferocity resounded in Xavier's rasping, distorted voice that Meve could not refuse his plea. Once the medics had bandaged his wounds, Meve's men set out towards Aldersburg, following Demavend and the Nilfgaardians. At one point in their journey, Black Rayla rode up next to Meve. The warrior's lips were a thin line, bitten to blood.
Well, he's an estate. Xavier Lemons.
Milady, the road to Aldersburg leads through Moulderwood, where Eldane's Scoia'tael prowl. Same filth who killed my men and delivered Rosberg to the Black Butchers.
Rayla breathed deeply to steady her furious, shaking voice.
Please, milady, I ask you upon the holies, let us find them and destroy them.
Meve gave a slight nod. It seemed the road to Aldersburg would prove long and full of challenges.
Yeah, you inherently, as a player that has experienced fantasy games before, want to be all like, we got.
Willem is not with us. Were he to see what lies before our eyes, caught a whiff of the burnt bodies, perhaps he would see with whom he now consorts, whom he allowed in our home with nary a fight.
If it be your majesty's wish, I shall send a rider to the prince with her.
I wish nothing of the sort. I will not correspond with the enemy.
You inherently want to side with the elves and help them and try to, like, defend them from all the racism and whatnot, but then this happens where the Scoia'tael basically engages in terrorism and explodes a wall from a defensive force that desperately needs it, and then the Nilfgaardians massacre everyone. The women, the children, and burning brutally. The Nilfgaardians really do come across as cartoonishly evil in this one.
Reach the walls, plowing traitors.
Yeah, all sorts of people are gonna be willing to join us now after what just happened.
Where's the king? Why'd he leave us a black-clad mercy? They took everything. I'd head to the wood, but my fear of the Scoia'tael. Dwarves breached the walls, plowing traitors.
Few more things added to the map. It's very dense with objectives now. Yeah, it's just a big, crazy open area to zigzag through and find side stuff before we end up over here. It might be a shorter map than the last one, I'm not sure. Let's see here. Reports. Eldain's Commando. Fresh reports indicate elf named Eldain, or Eldane, commands powerful force in Moulderwood. Numbers equal or exceed your majesty's company. Extreme caution advised. Eldain's background: assimilated merchant, operating in Gulet area. Radicalized after family killed in 1246 pogrom. Eyewitnesses states Eldain cannot be trusted. He honors no pact and leaves, and never keeps his word. Especially against us. He already betrayed his entire city that he was in.
Yes?
Rayla, how are you holding up?
Not certain I understand what you mean.
All Edirn is aflame. Nilfgaard's banners fly over its cities. Don't tell me you're not troubled.
Of course I'm troubled. I stationed at Rosberg for 5 years. Knew all on the crew there by name. But that's war. That's its nature. No sense bemoaning it.
I see. Just know if ever you wish to talk.
I won't, but I do appreciate your concern, ma'am.
This Eldane, could you tell me about him?
He should hang.
I'd hope to hear advice that will be useful to us in battle.
First of all, you can't rightly trust the bastard. He doesn't respect our laws, doesn't share our morals. The king once dispatched an envoy to Eldane, despite my advice to the contrary. Found the envoy the next day, eyes gouged out, shaft of his white flag jammed down his throat.
So, diplomacy's clearly not the wisest course. But what of battle? What tactics does he employ?
Like all elves, he's a worm. Avoids open confrontation, sets ambushes, attacks from the shadows, from midst the trees. It would be best to burn this whole forest to the ground, deprive him and his folk of cover, any place to hide.
Sounds rather drastic. Like tossing the babe out with the bath.
Believe me, they'd not hesitate to do the same to us. Not for a moment.
I must go. We'll speak later.
At this rate, it seems like the forest might burn down all on its own.
Your Majesty, I've been meaning to thank you for allowing me to join your ranks.
Certainly, Xavier. I welcome all foes of Nilfgaard to march beneath my banner. But what did the field surgeon say? Have you not resumed work too soon?
I've strength enough to wield a hammer, though my scars still burn, and fiercely so. My lady, I've seen folk turn and frown at the very sight of me. If my appearance disgusts you, I can...
Nonsense. The Nilfgaardians, not you, should be ashamed. You've no reason to hide, no reason to cower.
Thank you, my lady. It means a great deal to hear that.
You've long served in King Demoven's army, haven't you?
Yes, Your Grace.
Why enlist at all? What prompted you to do so?
The king needed engineers. I answered the call.
Not terribly talkative, are you?
I can build any bridge, any ballista, but to talk, well, it hurts to talk.
I see. Well, do not worry. I prefer deeds to words, in myself and others. Other matters await my attention. We shall speak later.
As you wish, my lady.
He's probably in a deep sort of pain underneath it all in a way that doesn't really go away. These guys are new. What the fuck?
Milady, they're an Oddrin in our ranks. Man calling himself that ran up quite the tab last night, then disappeared with nary a trace.
Kind of the happy little band of brothers and then the brooding folk. Oh, they're sorted by region, aren't they? This is this map. They're the characters from this map, and these are the characters from this map. Or, sorry, the previous map and the current map, I meant to say. It just said this map twice. Good job, me. I want to see this new character. There you are. At first I thought he would just be somebody that unlocks more building options, but then he became a unit. Xavier Lemons. Zeal, so he can use his order ability immediately. Order. Choose a card with order and give it 1 charge. Charge 2. Ooh. Your engineer's got a pate like stewed meat, but he kens his trade. That's for certain. So he's got 6 power, and he can give 2 different people access to their ability. My first reaction was to think about how that's just weaker than Odo's power, and that's kind of a bummer. But his is an order. Odo's ability to give other people charge is a deploy action. This guy's is an order. That means that Odo could just like with Black Rayla, Odo can replenish this guy's ability, which then lets him do replenishing the charges of 2 other people. So if I have 2 drummers, Odo can replenish both of the drummers to let them summon 2 more guys, but also replenish Xavier, who then will also replenish those drummers again to summon 2 more guys. That's a big deal. If those 2 guys had just summoned people that turn, then those two drummers could end up summoning 6 units in the course of 1 turn, which is absurd. But that's the kind of combos you start setting up with these characters. I definitely want them in the group. And I can afford to, because I'm already not even at cap anyway. And that's how it goes. I'm getting used to the new deck. I still haven't built a new Arbalest yet. But I got really used to having them. But I've completely avoided my previous strategy that involved Arbalest and Wagenburg and have moved in a completely different direction by and large. It doesn't hurt. At this point, I've got so many strong units I could potentially do, and a decent number of options for trying to build them, in order to draw them, I mean, that I can't really imagine putting a Rivian pikeman in my deck. Like, even if I had a whole bunch of them to make them really worth it, like, why would I want to fill my entire row with a bunch of 3s? Like, I have everything in my deck is better, except these. No, you're 5s. I was looking at the wrong number, wasn't I? It's the left number. What is the right number? The 2. Oh, it's how much they use of this resource. Okay. So going by the left number, yeah, the field medic's the only thing weaker than a pikeman, but at least they draw additional units from my graveyard, though the randomness makes them not as appealing as I would otherwise think. I'm not psyched about them usually. Outwards and onwards.
Meve's ears caught the sound of a ruckus coming from the camp.
Thief! Inglet! A pox upon you all!
It was her quartermaster hurling oaths at the peasants she had freed from the Nilfgaardian slave convoy. A few had stolen supplies under the cover of darkness and escaped into the woods. Terror and dread gripped the other freed prisoners. Meve mulled over what to do with them, and Reynard, as always, offered some advice.
'Tis high time they went off on their own, your grace. They are too great a hindrance. They slow our march, divert our soldiers from more important tasks. And now this.
Gascon was listening to their conversation. Meve shot him a questioning look.
I opposed taking them in. So, for consistency, I now oppose forcing them to leave. We made their miserable lives our responsibility, did we not? Well then, that is a burden we cannot simply shrug off.
Gascon, I'm pretty sure that's the opposite of consistency. Let's let them stay.
Let us not mince words. We cast off these peasants now, they shall die.
Meve said in the end.
Let them stay. But I want them watched. They cause any more trouble, military justice they shall face. Understood?
The freed prisoners sighed with relief. The infantrymen assigned to watch over them, however, grumbled their disapproval of the Queen's decision.
"'Tis an army, not a shelter,"
they said. Meve's ears surely caught the complaint. But the Queen had never let the opinions of others guide her in such matters, trusting only her own judgment.
Hard to convince people that we're here to save the area, isn't it? Oh, we went from green to neutral. Yep, because they didn't like that choice. We'll survive somehow. But we can't afford the wood. It's just this option, isn't it? Yeah. New resource influx has not led to a situation where we can actually handle anything else. Are these elven ruins? Huh. There does not seem to actually be an interaction in there. Just kind of some ruins hanging out. Oh yeah, we'll find something over here. Oh, I actually just passed something back up there. Oh, I thought that was more branches, but no, I should head back. I thought it was more branching back and forth in the overall open area, but no, that's just a little dead end that I walked by. Opposite of what I'm going for.